Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel Chronicles of a Midwife. I am here at part 3 of my video speaking about my physical health and how it affected my mental health in my early life. And as I said before, if this is triggering for you, please click off the video. We're going to talk about suicidal ideations and tendencies. So I hope this will encourage you to seek help if you need to. Thank you. So even as a young child as well, I was always sickly. Up until now, hey, I'm still sickly. So it's a case where when you're always the sick one on top of everything, it's always running, and you associate running with being sick. Yeah, the sick fowl. Asthma. Always coming down with some form of ear infection, throat infection. You name it, I had it. It was diarrhea, persistent diarrhea, low blood count, low blood pressure, hypoglycemic. It was always me that is sick with something. My mother and father always had to be coming to primary school for me because they hear again some have an asthma attack. And I was just so tired. I was so tired of being sick. I was so tired. I was so tired of being a burden to my parents. I was so tired of being sick. And I did have some suicidal ideations. I thought about committing suicide. And up until this day, I can't talk about some of the things that I actually did to myself. Because I don't want my mother to be, I don't want her to be disappointed in me, but I was so tired of my life, of all the things that were happening to me at the same time that I was so sick. And I didn't know what to do. If I knew then what I knew now, I wouldn't have done the things that I've done to myself. I wouldn't have done. If I had so much of the strength that I do have now, I wouldn't have. But I was just so tired. I was a child and all these things happening to me, and I was just so tired. I was just tired. Molestations after molestations, being sick, and I have all these things in my head that I'm ugly and I needed to improve myself in some way. It was just so much being a child and being a teenager. When persons saw me and thought that I was so unapproachable, my face always make up. I remember once that I was doing my SBA in 5th form, or you will call it grade 11, that I went to my father's company because I was doing principles of business. And this has just always been me. If I had nothing to smile about, my face is just this rigid face, and up until this day I have to wonder how people think and feel when they say these things to children or do these things to children and break down their self-esteem and self-confidence. I went to my father's company and I greeted them because I had manners, even though they would have said you're not a manners girl. But I grew up in the era that if you pass somebody, an elderly, you say good morning. If you don't say good morning, you know say you go. Them I go tell them mother say you know say your daughter not manners and she don't pass me and say morning, and then you get a cuss off. So I greeted them. And I explained the reasons for me coming to the company. And they used to me already, because from my pitney, me always there up and down with my daddy. As soon as school out, daddy. Daddy come pick me up and down with him, and then we go on him company and me sit down with him and just play around or whatever until me go home. So they were used to me. So I didn't expect that sort of feedback to my father. So when I explained to them and said my goodbyes, I went home. That night my father came home upset with me they told him that I was just so disrespectful to them because I came and made up my face after them, and I'm so unapproachable, and she need to fix her attitude. And I was like, what? What you say, Daddy? Me? How? But these are people that I know. That if it was a random stranger, I would understand. But these are people that me grow up around. So how could it be a case where would I never do something like that? And so from that moment on, I had to put on this mask, this facade, to try and improve myself. Constructive criticism is much better than you just being so mean. That was mean thing, and it brought me down in a sense that I had to pretend to be somebody else that I wasn't. Now when you see this effervescent personality, that is me, because I have come to myself as my own person. But then I was going through so many things that I was so unhappy, and I could not, unless you crack a joke or we're in an environment that was happy for me at that time, I would smile and I would laugh and I would be jovial, but otherwise I wasn't. And sometimes you just don't know. When you don't know anything, it's something else. It's something else. If you know somebody who has been through something like this, you can motivate them and encourage them to seek help, to seek counseling. If it is a friend, if you can encourage them to seek the guidance counselor at the school so that they may talk it through instead of having these thoughts in their heads. And we won't know, because the way how we treat our children, sometimes they're so afraid to come to you as parents or guardians. They're so afraid to speak to anybody because they are so afraid of the reception that they will get. From now on, I hope this will give somebody the strength and the understanding of how to approach children. When you see your child acting out in a certain way, or you see them being effervescent, or you see that they like to play but no, you see them quiet, you need to start questioning what is going on. Most of the time, children change suddenly. Something has occurred in their lives that caused them to change their attitudes, and we think that them bad. Not all the time them bad. We need to watch our children. We need to love them, and we need to respect them as well. All right. So I hope that this will help parents, friends, families, loved ones out there to be a little bit more kind to everyone. Not only children, but everyone. I'm going to be having another part to my story